So the break and retest, the strategy that I talk about so much on this channel, the strategy that I primarily use for my options trading. Today's video, I want to break down the trade that I took on Apple using that break and retest to the downside. On top of talking about Apple, I want to do a little bit of a breakdown on the NASDAQ ES, share with you guys what happened today after we saw that pullback early morning. We went ahead and pulled back to a key 3,700 level on the S&P 500, which in itself is a retest of a previous high, and we went ahead and we held on to that level. We'll first look at that Apple trade, and then we'll do a little bit of analysis on the NASDAQ and ES so that you guys can get set up for tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. After watching it, press that like button, subscribe to the channel for more. Let's go ahead and jump into the Apple trade. So guys, let's go ahead and start today off on Apple, the break and retest trade that I took to the downside. Now, I want to be honest with you, I did not expect us to slip for about 2 hours today. I was looking for a pullback early morning due to the large pre-market upside. I did not expect us to slip for 2 hours. There was a lot of demand levels that I was looking for the S&P and the NASDAQ to hold, which we will talk about later in today's video when I analyze the S&P and the NASDAQ. I didn't expect us to drop for 2 hours, and this caused me to miss quite a bit of downside early morning. I was not really confident. I didn't think that we would move all the way back down to the gap fill on the S&P 500, and I went ahead and I missed a lot of this downside. I stayed patient. I waited for a setup that I really liked. I didn't want to chase the downside. I came into the day looking for a pullback to then go ahead and purchase for upside. After I realized that, hey, there is no upside strength here, I didn't want to just quickly flip and start to buy puts. I wanted to wait for my strategy, and that is the break and retest, and I finally found it around 11 o'clock today on Apple, and I'm going to go ahead and break that down for you here. So here's Apple, right? We started to slip. We were slipping for majority of the day until we hit a pretty important demand here around 143. That is where Apple ended up holding very, very nicely until, of course, we had that news come out about Apple going ahead and cutting their production on their iPhone 14s, which eventually came right back up later day. But if we go ahead and we break this down, we look at Apple, where did I find my trade entry? So as you guys hear me talk about on this channel sometimes, I do not like to take breakdowns or breakouts. I don't like to take that original move because more times than not, it will be a fake out. Breakout, fake out, it happens quite a bit. And I don't like to be caught in it because I think that is one of the worst ways to lose is on a complete fake out, not waiting for a confirmation, not waiting for a solid entry, and just chasing something on the market. I hate doing that. It really irks me when I take a loss like that, and that is why I've really taken it out of my trading pretty much totally, and the break and retest has helped me do that and helped me stay patient here. So here was the low on Apple before I took my trade, right? We had a low here around this 144.84 level, 144.85, right in that general area. We had a low here on Apple that formed around, this is around 10:38, 10:40 a.m. today. We had that low, right? We got to push higher, didn't take any trades here. We got to push lower, didn't take any trades here. We pushed a little bit up, and then we flushed that level. So if I go ahead and zoom in here, just looking at this flush of the low on Apple, here is your low a day flush. Now, of course, if you got in here on the flush in this situation, if you held through this little pop, you would be, sitting pretty nicely, right? Taking that low a day flush in this situation worked very nicely. But I know, as I've been trading for a while, I know that there are times where it will flush, it will hold, and it will pop right back up. And everyone that shorted on that breakout just sort of gets stuck underwater, and this thing goes ahead and pops right back up. So what I like to see, to avoid getting stuck in that pop back to the upside, is I like to see Apple try to pop back to the upside and fail, right? I want to see it try to do that pop back to the upside, and I want to see it fail. If it can fail that push back to the upside, turn that previous low into a rejection point, then I like that for a trade, and I like that for confirmation. So what you'll see here on Apple, we broke down, we flushed the lows. We tried to do that little pop to the upside, and look at that rejection candle that came in around 11:11 a.m. Eastern time, right? This candle right here gave me the confidence to enter my trade. That doji right there at that previous low, right? You had the double bottom low that we flushed below. This doji candle, we tried to push back up into that previous low. We got harshly rejected at that 144.80 level, and we went ahead and we started to slip. Now, what you'll see, I'll pop up my entries on the screen for you to see. I went ahead and I first entered on the 11:11 candle. 11:11, 58 seconds. So basically, right as this candle closed, I was entering my put options, and in this trade, my stop loss is right back above the previous lows. So I'm getting in here on this candle with a stop loss right here at this white line, the 144.85. If Apple goes ahead and pushes back above that level, then I don't want to be in this put, right? Because it is getting back above that previous double bottom low. And what is this setting up? It is setting up a fantastic risk to reward, right? I'm getting in here on the retest. My risk is very small back up to this level, and my reward is a potential downside move that I can start to scale out of over time, take my winners, take my cash flow, and start to get out of the position as it starts to work in my favor. So you'll see I got in at 11:11 right here, and I went ahead and I scaled out just about 1 minute later as I got this monster candle in my favor. I did not expect to get this large of a candle in my favor, but what you'll see on my exit is I went ahead and I took it off about 1 minute later, just about 54 seconds. What is that? Something like that. It's about, let's just call it a minute. About a minute later, I went ahead and I took my half off around this right around this 144 level on Apple. Quickly moved in my favor, and I had to take some off. So I was scaling out, taking that cash flow, just in case Apple went ahead and came all the way back up. If I'm scaling out down here, if it does come back up, then I'm already scaled out a half, and I'm locking in profits when I get that original very large push in my favor. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put up the 9 EMA on your screen because the 9 EMA is what kept me in this trade. And a lot of people ask, how do I stay in a trade? What keeps you in a trade? What made you hold on to that winner? It's the 9 EMA, guys. And that is really all I look for after I am in this trade. After I have started a position, started to get a move in my favor, when I'm sitting in that position and I've taken already half off of my size and I've taken some profits off the table, at that point, when I'm in the voice chat with the Discord, I'm saying, as long as it's below the 9 EMA, I am taking this trade. I'm staying in this trade, and I will scale out as I get pushes in my favor. So you guys can see my next exit was 11:16. And 11:16 was right here. I started to see Apple slow down. I started to see these candles get really tight. I was a little bit worried of a big pop, so I went ahead and I took some more size off around this 11:16. The next exit was 11:19, and that was right here at the bottom of this candle, 11:19 and 40 seconds. Why did I hold through this green candle right here? Look at the 9 EMA. Right, the 9 EMA, it is still trading below the 9. It got rejected at the 9 EMA. This was actually another entry point that I was talking about in the live trading, saying, hey, let's look to see, does Apple push back into the 9? Does it reject it? There is a potential entry if you missed the original break and retest. So we went ahead, we popped into that 9, we rejected it. That kept me in the trade. You can see I scaled out some at 11:19. My next exit was 11:23, which was at the green candle right here. The reason I got out of this, I have to be honest, I hit my profit target. It was around 143.60. I had a nice green win. It took me green on the day. It eliminated the loss that I took early morning on Tesla, and I just went ahead and I took it here at this move. Now, again, this is not aligning with the 9 EMA, so of course I don't always stick to it 100%. There are times where I mess up a little bit. I probably could have held on here. My emotions maybe took me out of it. I was maybe staring at my P&L a little bit too much. I was happy to be back in the green after a very nice Apple trade. I wanted to lock it in. I had a small amount of contracts left, and I just went ahead and I locked in those profits and called it a day after a break and retest, right? It was getting on to around 11:30. That's a little bit later than I like to trade. So right here, I took it all off at 11:23 for $2.32 on that contract. So to sort of review this trade in a short sentence, waiting for the break and retest, let that thing flush below the lows, look for it to try to come back into the lows, look to see if it fails that push back into the lows. If it starts to fail, right, take that put option with a stop above that previous low, good risk to reward. Get that move in your favor. If you get that move in your favor, scale out as it comes in your favor, and then look for that 9 EMA to make sure it is trading below it. The first time we broke above the 9 EMA was right here around 11:44, and you can see after that break above the 9, things started to move back to the upside. So this 9 EMA was a great guide in this trade to the downside on Apple. So guys, now that we saw that Apple trade, I just want to quickly share with you something that I noticed today on the S&P 500 that some of you may noticed as well. You guys can see that yesterday we were not getting above that 3,700 level on the ES. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the 9 9 EMA and pop up the daily SMA, the daily 20 SMA, because this has been a crucial level for the S&P 500. You guys can see that yesterday we just rejected that 20 SMA on the S&P 500. Right there, all day we rejected that level. That was around 3,700. Today, you can see we opened above and we got that morning pullback. We went ahead and we filled the gap on the pre-market, right? We had a pre-market move higher. We had a gap here on the SPY. If we go to the SPY, you will see that we had a gap. If we were to exclude the after hours, I'll go ahead and go to the daily chart. You can see that here on the daily chart, we can see that we opened up and we gapped up. We opened up around here and we gapped up on this chart. So what we did is we went ahead and we pulled back. We filled that gap on the SPY. And after filling that gap, which was at 3,700 on the ES, I'll go ahead and go back to this on the 30-minute chart. After we filled that morning gap on the ES, which is right here, you can see we had that previous rejection here yesterday. We had the gap up. We pulled back, filled the gap, and look at the demand that stepped in there at 3,700. As well as the 3,700 level, we also have the 20 SMA below on the S&P 500. This kept me bullish, right? I saw the pullback, right? I didn't get scared of this pullback today. I wanted to see, do we hold that 3,700 on the ES? And we surely did. We even held it through that Apple downside after that news was released. Now, I don't want to make any bold calls here on the video today, but I just wanted to share with you, take a look at that S&P 500. That hold of 3,700 is definitely important on this market. Previous rejection yesterday, high of day. We came right back to it today. On the aggressive pullback early morning, we held it. We held it again after that Apple downside, and that caused the market to slip. That double bottom at 3,700, I think, is a key takeaway from today's S&P 500 action and something that I would be looking at moving forward. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something from that Apple trade that I took today. I thought it was a pretty textbook trade, and I wanted to share it with you in today's video. I'm going to go ahead and break this down again tomorrow on the pre-market live stream, so make sure to come hang out in that pre-market live stream where we do NASDAQ analysis, S&P 500 analysis every morning, break down some important moves that are happening on the market, some important levels across individual stocks, and a great way to prepare for your morning. If you enjoyed today's video, press that like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.